I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. So today's webinar, we're going to be talking about the chapter web pages. So every chapter in BNI has their very own chapter page. This allows you to get creative and do some really fun things with it in order to be able to better promote your chapter through a BNI Connect interface. The reason that we have these sites is because for years and years and years, usually the web designer in the chapter would, out of the goodness of their own heart, go and set up a chapter website. Well, they quickly realized that it was a lot of work to keep that website up to date and to make sure that they're chasing after members for all of their, their contact information, and then members were, constantly joining and leaving the chapter, and, then all of a sudden the web designer, they might leave the chapter as well, and now we have this orphan website out there. So we brought that all kind of in-house, so to speak, in BNI Connect. And the great thing about it is that even if you've done nothing, the chapter website is out there. It's out there on the internet. It's listing all of your members, all your member profiles, where your chapter meets. People can actually register to visit your chapter. So all of that is already out there. All that you have to worry about is if you want to update the creative content part of it, you can go ahead and do that. So that's what we're going to be reviewing today. We're going to go through the system, show you guys how to update the websites and where to access it in BNI Connect. So before we get started, though, let's just go over a couple of little quick housekeeping things. Firstly, this is a live webinar, at least if you're here on March 31st, 2017. You have the privilege and honor of being able to ask questions. So as we're going through the content today, feel free to ask anything you'd like to about BNI Connect. This is what we do all day, every day. We answer questions about BNI Connect. So we do schedule these webinars for about 30 minutes. We try to be very respectful of the time that you're taking out of your personal businesses and your personal lives to be here with us. So we do try to keep them to about a half hour for the content, but that said, I will stay on these calls until every single question has been answered. So the only silly question is the unasked question. We also record all of these, so if you are listening to this webinar in the future, that means that you found it on our support site, so support.bniconnect.com, or you can click the question mark in the upper right-hand side of BNI Connect. Or you found our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. Again, that's the BNI Connect Global YouTube channel. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, every chapter in BNI Connect has their very own chapter page. Now, that's part of the regional website. And if you're not sure what your regional website is, every region of BNI has their own domain name and their own website. If you're not sure what it is, log into BNI Connect and click this regional website button in the upper right-hand corner. So this regional website button will take you to your public regional website. In my case, this happens to be BNI RI, BNI Rhode Island, where I'm actually a member. I've been a member since 2002. So this is where all of our regional information is. So I can do things like find members and check out our regional resources. But I can also go to, let's say, find a chapter, for example. I can click find and see all the chapters. My chapter happens to be the Wakefield chapter here. Now this is the chapter details page, but we also have a chapter website. So if I click this button, visit chapter website, this is our chapter website, and we can go in and we can make modifications to it and update. Now my chapter really hasn't done much with it. I know how to work the software, but I am not a web designer by any means. But that said, I do know enough to be dangerous, and I'm going to show you some things on how to go in and update your site. But we have, our Facebook page here, and we do the thank you for closed business. We'll keep tally as the year progresses as well. There are some really cool websites out there. If you want to just see some of the things that you can do with this, again, this is pretty much a default out-of-the-box site, but you will see that it's listing our location, all of our leadership team. I can go to our members page and see all of our members here as well. And of course, every member has their profile, so I could click on my name, for example, and you could see my profile. Right? So Again, that is a default out-of-the-box website. Let's go take a look at just a couple of other examples so you can see what this is all about. I'm going to go there. There's a chapter out there that I really like their website. It's the BNI Rugby chapter. And this is yes, this is the one right here, the BNI Warwickshire group, and this is their website. Now, you notice that theirs is a lot different than mine is. They've really gone through, done some great things with it. They chose to go with a long scrolling format, which is great, but they have lots of pictures woven into it, some nice down-to-earth stuff, some graphics for what BNI is all about. There's a video here about what BNI is, a little infographic style video. Easy way to register to go and visit one of their meetings, and some quotes from some team members. And there are a couple of their pages here. They have their chapter members pages. They put a header up here so there's some consistency when you go through all the different pages. There's also a web gallery where you can take a look, for example, and see their member presentation photos. And there's also a news feed available. So this is just one example of what you can do with the websites. Let's take a look. I'm just going to look at one more. There's one called the Golden Ideas BNI, and that's in San Francisco. So here we have it, sanfrancisco.com, Golden Ideas. And notice how quickly they pop up at the top of the search engine, and that's because of the tremendous SEO that BNI has, having tens of thousands of web pages out there. Really, really does help out our brand quite a bit. But you can see here we have our chapter ideas here, the Golden Ideas chapter. They went with a 2-column format. They have a picture of where they meet. There's a button that you can click on to visit. A little click on message from their president. You can click that and take a look at their president. They put in a Google map to their location here as well, looking for these top professions for their chapter. Of course, they have their chapter members that they can view. Now, they did a pretty neat thing with theirs. They designed this themselves. They created a way to view their chapter in Power Teams. So again, this is something that they programmed themselves, and it allows you to kind of scroll through the chapters based on the actual contact spheres or the power teams in the group. I think that's a brilliant idea there. And of course, they have their chapter gallery and things like that as well. But those are just a couple of things that you can do with these pages. Again, the creativity part is up to you. The nice thing about these chapter sites is that they are always updated with fresh information from BNI Connect. It's actually not like a synchronization thing. It's every time you hit the page, it's pulling the most current data directly from BNI Connect. So, if tomorrow, April 1st, a lot of leadership teams across the United States will be transitioning. All of your leadership teams, whether they're continuing or transitioning, will be correct automatically as of tomorrow. So again, big benefit of using these BNI Connect web pages. So that said, how do we get to them? How do we go in and how do we update them? So it's really, really easy to do. And honestly, if you have ever edited a Word document, you can probably edit the website. As I said, I'm not a web designer, but I do know enough to be dangerous and be able to manage these websites here. So I'm going to show you how that works. Now, here's the thing is, in order to be able to edit the websites, you either need to be part of the leadership team. So usually presidents, vice presidents, and secretary treasurers by default will have access to edit the web pages. Alternatively, you need to be assigned as the chapter webmaster. So anybody can be a chapter webmaster. All you have to do is you do have to make that request of your regional office. So you have to get in touch with your executive director or with your director consultant or regional admin and ask them to please assign you as the webmaster, and then the functionality will magically appear in BNI Connect to allow you to go in and edit these pages. Now, once you have the permission, the place to go to do this will be the Tools menu. So you see these menus up here along the top. Once you have permissions to the web pages, the Tools menu will appear. And you're going to go to Tools, CMS. CMS stands for Content Management System. We're going to go to CMS, and the only thing you'll probably see is the thing that says Chapter Websites. So Tools, CMS, Chapter Websites. And once you get to the Chapter Websites, you'll see all of the websites that you have access to. So if you happen to be a director consultant, you may see all of the chapters in your area. If you are just a chapter webmaster for one chapter, you're probably only going to see one thing in the list like this. So we can see here on the left, this is our link. This is going to be our web page if we want to go check out what it looks like right now. And this is my my Burr chapter in Antarctica, so on my little playground here. If I go and take a look, this is what our chapter website looks like right now. Now, again, this is a default, 100% default out-of-the-box website. Nothing has ever been done to this page. So you do have a website even if you've never done anything. In order to edit it, I can go to this Options tab and see this little edit icon under here. I'm going to click that edit button. And here we go. We have all these different options now on the page. So let me give you a quick tour of what this is all about. So what we're looking at here, the Pages tab, these are all the various pages of your website. So let me go open the page here. So if we look at this side by side here for a second, you see we have our home page. This is our home page. You see here we have our chapter members. This is our chapter members page. So I can click chapter members, and this is the chapter members page. You know, some wonderful people in this chapter, Johnny Depp and Joey Tribbiani and Adam Sandler, a whole bunch of my friends up there. Now, we have these little greater than symbols, and that is the sub pages. So if I was to click on a chapter member, for example, let's click on Alfred E. Newman here. This would be the member details page, right? So we have the member details page. This is all about them and their business, their profile. That is pulling their active profile from BNI Connect. We also have the the chapter details, subpage. So if I was to click on this chapter, this would take me to the chapter details subpage where we have some information about the chapter. Then we have the send message subpage. So if I click on send message, this is the ability to send a message to somebody. We also have a gallery page and a news page. Now you'll notice the news page is listed here. The news is a special function that allows you to have a scrolling news feed. I'm not going to really get into that today, but this is actually accessed through a different part of the system that allows you to basically push a news feed. It also allows the whole chapter to participate in it if you'd like to, rather than giving them full access to the website. But you'll notice that the gallery tab isn't there. Well, if we go back here for a second, we will notice that the gallery page, if we go all the way to the right here, is currently hidden. So right now it says show, whereas the news page says hide. Right? So if we wanted to see that gallery page, we would have to click the show button. Are you sure you wish to show? Click yes, submit, and now the page should be seen. Right? So let me go back and take a look and refresh. But no, actually it's not showing yet. Well, that's because what we actually have when we're working in the CMS editor is that we're working on a background copy of the website. It's called the preview page. And that means if you're designing your new web page, you don't really want the whole world to see your work in progress. You want them to see the finished result. And the same thing is here. So right now we have two links here. One will say preview URL and one says live URL. So if I was to, let's say, go to the preview URL, here we can see that the gallery has been activated. But if I go back to my live page, we can see that the gallery hasn't been activated. So whenever you're making changes, it's important that when you're ready to go live, you're ready for the world to see all of the changes that you just made, you need to publish that page. And you do that by very simply clicking the publish button. And this only takes a second, and what it's going to do is it's going to take all of those changes that you made in the preview site, and it's going to overwrite the current page that's out there, right? So there is no backup of this, by the way. It will overwrite what is there. So I'm going to click Publish, and now if I go back to the live URL, you'll see that the Gallery tab is now there, right? You'll also notice that we have some tabs along the top. We have Pages, Library, Site Information, and Gallery. So let's take a look at all of those. So this first thing, again, this is the Pages tab, and we'll get into some of this other stuff in just a couple of minutes. But if I go to the Library tab, what the library is, and right now you can see the library is empty, but the library is where you're going to put any basically photos that you want to appear on your page, right? In order for the photos, it's not just a copy and paste type thing into the website. What you have to do is you have to load the images up to our server, right? So because we have to host them on our web server in order to display them quickly. You do that by coming to this library tab first, going to this images and click upload. This will allow you to search your computer. So you go to this browse button here, the magnifying glass, and I'm going to go and find a picture here. Let's go get the, I'm going to grab this little BNI Connect, stay connected here. Actually, let's get that big one. Let's get the BNI help support. Now, if you hold down the control key, you can actually bring up to 3, I believe, images at a time. And I can see which ones we're going to upload, and now I will have these in my library. Now, you can put as many graphics as you want up there in the library. It is an unlimited number of images. However, they are limited to 5 megabytes apiece. So they do have to be, less than 5 megabytes in size. But once they're up there, they are up there. If you need to remove one, just click on the little checkbox there and click delete. Now you can also upload documents like PDF files and things like that if you wanted to, have something like that up on the site and then link to be able to download those types of documents. Now there is a button here for Flash. Now I'd say please kindly ignore that. Really, nobody uses Flash anymore. It's just not a technology that's very common, but if you absolutely need to use it, you can use Flash objects as well. All right, so I have a couple of images up there in the library. Let's take a look at this next tab and take a look at the Site Information tab. The Site Information tab, there's not a whole lot on this page that you really need to do anything with. As a matter of fact, we ask that you don't do a whole lot on this page. However, there is one thing that you'll probably want to change. And again, these are template-driven websites, so that means that they're automatically created by the system. And one of the things that it does when it creates these sites is that it gives it'll create this name of the chapter site based on the name of the region and the name of the chapter, and then it's going to replace any illegal characters with dashes. So right now, if I wanted to tell somebody to go to our website, I'd have to say, all right, go to antarcticreferrals.com/shiver-region-bni-BR. Right? That's a mouthful. Nobody's going to remember all of that. So you can actually shorten that. You can really make the name of your site whatever you want it to be, as long as it's unique within your region. So if I wanted this to be, Burr chapter, I could make it Burr chapter, or I could just make it Burr. So it would be antarcticreferrals.com/Burr. Right? That's up to you. You can't change the tagline. I don't recommend changing the names of these buttons. These are the buttons that are in the upper right-hand corner of the page, by the way. I do not recommend changing those, at least if you are going to change them, please go and check with your executive director first. One of the good things about these sites is that they're consistent. The structure, the layout is consistent between the chapters. So from a visitor perspective, when they're looking at these chapters, it's less confusing. If you want to use something like Google Analytics or anything, you have the analytics code here as well. Now you notice there is a tab that pops up once you enable the gallery. One of the reasons that the gallery is hidden by default is because there's no sense having that tab there if there's no pictures uploaded yet. So once you enable it, the gallery, this works very similar to the library. It has its own library here. If I click Add Album, this will allow me to create an album in the gallery. So give the album a name, Pictures, right? Pretty Pictures. So I can give this a name, click Submit, and then I can upload pictures into that album. So I click on Manage Photos, add a photo, go find the photo, give it a title, and upload. Now this one you do have to upload one at a time because you have to assign these, titles and stuff to them. So you can't do that control button thing where you are able to upload 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is pictures at once. And we do have a question from David. David says, can you repeat the YouTube info? Sure, absolutely. It's youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, right? So BNI Connect Global, youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. All right, awesome. Thank you, David. All right, so that's the tabs. Let's go back to the pages real quick. Now, each one of the pages, most of them have an edit name. These main pages have edit name. So if you want to, change this from gallery to, something else, let's say instead of gallery, you want this to be pictures of our chapter, right? And I don't need an exclamation point. Let's click submit here. And I'm going to go ahead and let me publish that real quick. Go to the live URL, and now instead of gallery, we have pictures of my chapter. We can go to that page, and we should see my album there, pictures, and then we have the picture. So we have all of that available to us. Let's go and take a look at the other things. Meta tags. Now, meta tags, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on meta tags. It really is an art form. Talk to an SEO person for good ideas on how to best put in some really effective meta tags. These do help the search rankings. The last final thing I'll show you here is this edit content, and this really is where the magic happens. This is where we're going to be editing the various pages. Now, what you'll notice, I'm going to click on edit content. Keep in mind that what you just saw, this just opened up in a new window, okay? So I just opened this thing up in a new window. If you click that button and nothing happens, it means you have a pop-up blocker turned on. So make sure you disable your pop-up blocker or allow BNI Connect to do some pop-ups here so that you can get to the content page. Once we get into the page, we will be able to start editing it. Now, there are certain areas that you'll be able to edit and certain areas that you don't. So you notice the left-hand side over here, there's really nothing we can do. The top things up here, we edit those through that previous interface. We can't really edit the things up in the header. What we're going to be working with is this stuff here in the center, right? Even the chapter speakers, we can't really edit any of those. All that stuff has basically content that's pulled automatically from BNI Connect. But down here in this particular section, that's where you have kind of really full creative control to do what you'd like in here. Again, within reason, keeping in mind that this is a public site and that we are a professional organization. So if you have any questions whatsoever as to whether or not what you're putting up there is appropriate, please speak with your executive director. Have them go in and review your content. So that they make sure that it's brand compliant. All right, so here we go. Most of this, as I said before, if you have ever edited a Word document, probably 90% of what I'm about to show you in a second will be familiar. Really, really easy. We can go in, and these tools up here are mostly the things that you'd find in any standard editor. So we have like bold, italic, underline, so I can highlight something, I can make it bold, I can change the colors of things, so I can change this to, I want our thank you for closed business number to be huge, and I want it to be in green with an yellow background highlight, right? So you can do all that. I can go in, I can create numbered lists, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You can also do bulleted lists. Right, I can, make things underlined. I can make things italic. Again, most of this is just the same thing that you would do in any kind of a document that you might be doing. Where it starts to be a little bit different, you do have some additional functionality here. For example, if you wanted to link to another web page, like if I wanted to say something like, visit our support site and YouTube channel, right? So let's say I wanted to get people to the YouTube channel. I could put a hyperlink here. So what you have to do is you highlight it, and then you'll see this button here. This is the link button. If I click the link button, now I can put in youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. So now you'll see it turns blue and it's underlined. So now they can go and they can click that and they'll be able to get over to our YouTube channel. Right, the other thing that you're probably going to want to do is to put some pictures in here. So let's say I want to get that one of those graphics that I uploaded. Let me find a place to put it, and here's the picture symbol here. Insert graphic. And here's where I click Browse Server. That will allow us to go and look at all the pictures that we've uploaded. You'll see that there is some default content in here, not a whole lot, just a couple of stock graphic pictures here. Here's that Get Connected thing that I uploaded, the BNI Connect one, the support one. Let's say I want this Get Connected sticker thing in here. I'm going to grab that, and wow, that's huge. All right, let me go back. I'm going to click on that and click the picture symbol again. Let's make that a little bit smaller. I'm going to make that about 200 pixels instead of 600 pixels. There we go. That's a little bit better. Of course, you can also hyperlink these. So let's say I wanted, if somebody clicked on that picture, you can basically turn it into a button, so to speak. I can also link that. So let's say I want that to bring them to support.bniconnect.com. That way, when they clicked on that, it would bring them to our support site. So, I mean, really, that's the basics. All the rest of this stuff, you can create forms, but a lot of the coding has to be done externally. If you are a web designer, this is what you do for a living, and you're more comfortable working in code, you can do that. You can click the source button up here, and you can directly edit the code if you want to. I would be very careful copying and pasting code from other places, though, as that has been known with incompatible systems to break the site, in which case we have no choice but to delete your site and reset it back to defaults at that point. All right, so once I'm all set here, I'm going to save this. It gives us a little preview. I'm going to close that, and if I go to my website, we should see all these lovely new changes. Uh-oh. They're not there. Oh, that's right. That's because we haven't published yet. So let's go ahead and publish our site. And now, when I go to our live URL, we have all of our gorgeous, beautiful changes. Now, you can also edit other pages in here, like the, for example, the send message page, if I wanted to edit the content there. Now, different pages will have different areas that you can edit. Not all of them can you edit. This. Again, this has the send message stuff in the middle. You can't really edit any of that, but you can edit basically the header. Now I can put something in, like maybe I want to say, please don't spam us with unsolicited business. Right, and I can go ahead and save that, and this is what it's going to end up looking like. Let's go and just take a look. I'm going to publish again, go out to the site, And we can go to a chapter, for example, a member, click on send message, and please don't spam us. So, there's different things that you can do on different pages that allow you to be creative. All right, and that, my friends, is the chapter websites. So we are at the bottom of the hour. As I said, I like to be respectful of your time. I do appreciate you spending some time with me today about learning a little bit more about BNI Connect, and most importantly, for dedicating this time to your chapter and making a positive BNI experience for yourself and all of your fellow chapter members. That said, as I mentioned, I am happy to stay on this call. If you do have questions, I would like to open this up for questions, comments, concerns, compliments, complaints, whatever you got. I'm happy to hear it. All you have to do is type your question into the questions panel. Unfortunately, on this type of webinar, we don't have the ability to open up any microphones. If you do have a question or anything, please type that into the questions panel, and I'll be able to answer that. And again, if you don't have any questions, just a reminder, a couple of things. That YouTube channel, again, that's youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And you'll see we have a ton of videos up here on our YouTube channel. We do record all of this session. David says, if I have problems, questions getting my website up, can I contact you? Absolutely, you can contact us. We love to help out. Here's the way to contact us. David, click the question mark in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to our support site. And on the support site, you'll see a thing that says submit a request. This will allow you to submit a ticket to the support team, and we'd be happy to help you out. All right, is that helpful, David? All right, so let's see. Patrick says he has two questions. I don't think he's typed them out yet, but I'm happy to answer your questions, Patrick. Cynthia says, thank you. I had no idea I was reinventing the wheel. I'm making the change this week. Now, Cynthia, if you've already gone ahead, or if your chapter has already gone ahead and bought a web domain, two things about that. A, talk to your executive director. They may be interested in actually buying that domain back from you. Again, one of the problems that we have as a corporation, as a big company around the world, is that a lot of chapters have gone and bought BNImychapter.com, and then again the person that owns it leaves, and everybody loses access to it, and there's this orphan site out there, and it just gets really, really messy. So talk to your executive director about that. Now, the second thing is that if you've already gone that and you already have it up there, you can actually redirect over to our sites, right? So all you have to do is you create an A record to redirect your chapter page to your chapter site here. All right, so does that help, Cynthia? All right, Patrick has his first question. He says, how many webmasters can be on a web page? And are there any limitations to the content or active content? Patrick, we can actually have unlimited webmasters. So yeah, if you and 2 or 3 other people in the chapter, you all have web experience, you want to collaborate on it, absolutely multiple webmasters may be assigned to the chapter. So not a problem at all. Again, all you have to do is request that from your executive director or from your regional office, and they can assign, again, as many webmasters as you'd like to. I do know we have at least one executive director on the call with us today. Just a note to you. This is done through the manage roles function. The other thing is that if you have an external consultant, a web designer that's not a BNI member, you can also have an external consultant that has access to just the chapter websites. So if you need more information on that, contact me directly. Thank you. All right, so you had one other question there. Well, it says, is there limitations to content or active content? I'm not sure if I specifically know the answer to that question. Again, this is, this technology is about 4 or 5, 6 years old, this type of content management system. So it isn't right now as robust as some of the stuff that's out there, but I do know that some people have put some CSS style things in there and some other fancy things. So we do have a web expert on our support team. His name is Frank. And if you do have very specific questions about what's supported, please do submit a support ticket, and I can get that over to Frank, and Frank can answer those questions directly. All right, does that help, Patrick? All right. John has a question. John says, can we create more pages? So no, you are limited to these pages. You're limited to the number of pages that you have here. However, you can, as I showed you with like the gallery page, for example, you can actually kind of repurpose that page and do other things with it, turn it into like a blog or something like that. But you are limited to just the pages that are there right now. I will also say that a little bit later this year, we will be updating this CMS technology. I do not have a date for that exactly, but it is something that we'll be doing in the relatively near future. So, all right, that was the last question I have listed. Does anybody else have any questions whatsoever about the CMS, the websites, or anything else in BNI Connect? As I said, I love answering questions. This is what I do all day, every day, and much more fun to do it live than it is to go back to the emails that are stacking up. All right then, so if there's no other questions, again, thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. A good referral for me, please let your other chapter members know about these webinars. You'll see that all of these webinars are on the regional website on the calendar. So we do a series of 9 webinars every single month. So you'll see that we have, starting next week already, we have BNI Connect webinars for leadership teams, tools and reports and goals, online renewals. The following week, we're going to talk about the chapter web pages again. And then we're going to start our member series, completing your profile, tracking referrals, connecting with other members, tools and reports and visitors. I would love it if you could have somebody else from your chapter or somebody else from your region sign up for one of these upcoming webinars next month. That would be a good referral for me. So have an absolutely awesome weekend, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. In the meantime, happy connecting.